Trish, you're watching the SA Sports Channel. We know COVID's been pretty nasty in all sports. It's certainly affected the AFL, and we're watching again this weekend how they've had to shift things around. But what about if you're on the world stage, trying to get something going? So we thought we'd check out what's happening with Lacrosse. It's been a couple of years where they've been trying to get their systems going, let me tell you. Been good enough. Trish Adams, of course, the coach of the women's lacrosse team, joins us. Craig Schicker of the under-21 men's team. Let's start with you, Trish, and firstly, welcome to the show. It's been a bump back, a bump back, a bump back, and then it's not months. Months become years. So how's that impacted on the group?
Yeah, I mean, from the senior women's perspective, our World Cup was scheduled for July 2021, so just days or weeks away. And ours has been pushed back a full year. So there's been a lot of adjustments. We haven't had full squad together for training since February of 2020, and that was our only, full meeting together. So it's state-based preparation, so people in different states just preparing and training, going through that grueling training without the touch points. So it's really difficult, but we still remain optimistic and looking forward to hopefully a World Cup in exactly a year from today. So
that has to be so tough.
It's very tough.
As a coach,
yes,
not being able to have your squad when you've got a World Cup coming up. You've got a World Cup coming up with 2022 now, obviously, but over that period, I understand you've lost players as well. Not only has it been pushed back, but now half your squad's missing as well. So you've got to replace these people. Why are they missing? This is what I like.
Why are they missing? Well, a couple of, being females, and we have a broad range of athletes. So my team has girls from 17 through to 40 years old. So, some of them just want to start families. They feel the biological clock ticking, and it's a huge commitment. We're talking about training for the world stage. So, it is, as well as managing full-time jobs or, being a parent, they're trying to fit in that training regime. So for some people, that was a bit too much without a guarantee of a World Cup going ahead. We have managed to maintain most of the collective group, and we have had a few additions as well. But it's definitely a struggle.
So it's no luck for some, but good luck for others.
Exactly.
Really, in a sense, because someone might have been a little bit too young and not quite ready, probably would be ready.
Yeah. I have a couple as well that are recovering from ACL injuries, so
there you go.
The time for them was obviously welcomed, but will always ebb and flow with injuries and things like that. So.
Trish, I had a quick look at the squad, and obviously that changes based on what you've said, but South Australia's got a fairly good grouping. I mean, I reckon it was somewhere around 10. Victoria had about 12. You go, they're clearly the two dominant. We don't get enough recognition for our South Australians in lacrosse, do we?
Oh, no, we don't. Yeah, no. We have a lot of fantastic players here in South Australia, and like you mentioned, Victoria is the other really strong state in terms of representation. And then we have our US-based athletes, so they're living either coaching lacrosse in the college system or playing in the college system in the US. And we have a couple from South Australia that are also based over there at the moment. So
so Craig, getting to you, mate. Initially it's us as the under-19 Australian team, but then it's bumped for 2 years, so now you're under-21. Another bump, you'll be under-23. If you sit out a couple more years, mate, you'll be coaching the Olympic team. So
that's right.
And not have lost a game. So I reckon that's a heck of a record, mate. Has it been the same difficulties for you that Trish has faced?
It has been. We've faced similar difficulties in that our squad was selected for a 2020 World Cup. COVID obviously affected that, so it's been pushed back clearly. We've had guys at that age group finish school, finish university, start apprenticeships, that sort of thing. So again, life changes, and we've seen a few slip out the back as well. So again, June was going to be a camp for us to get together. COVID hit then as well, last minute, so we weren't able to get together as a group. So we're short probably 4 or 5 as well, Phil. So we'll look to add to our group as well as soon as we can get back together.
Trish, I was having a look at the draw. I was having a look at the group that you're in, the Australian team. USA, Canada, England, Wales. Now, that is not the easiest group, I wouldn't think. USA would be pretty strong, yeah?
Yeah, USA are certainly... Canada are very strong as well. The US are extremely dominant. They have been for some time. The playing numbers there are huge. It's basically a corporation in terms of, the money that they've got behind them. They had something on the other day where they live streamed their tryouts for the Senior World Cup, and they raised $350,000 in 40 minutes. We would struggle to raise that over 20 years. But it's we've always punched well above our weight. You know, we're always in that top 4. And, you know, we really are very, very serious about getting back to that gold medal game this campaign, and that's been a strong focus for us in terms of just working as hard as we possibly can with the resources we have, which can be frustrating, but sometimes it's a little bit of a golden ticket. It gives you that extra, that bit of grit and determination, and you almost want to, you know, stick it to them a little bit. So it's fun, and we enjoy the challenge. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else other than in that top tiered group. So
all right. So where do you need to finish in that group to progress? Is it top 2 go through?
The top 4. So 1 will play 4, 2 will play 3 once the regular games finish, and then.
We've always been pretty good though at lacrosse, and I spoke to Jenny Williams a number of times, who's forever lauding the lacrosse team and saying how good they are and whatever, but we've always been pretty good at both men and women.
Did you speak to Jenny or did you listen?
I had a word to Jen.
You had one word. Okay, one word. Yeah. Love her enthusiasm.
Love it. Her enthusiasm is unbelievable with most sports, but she, particularly with lacrosse, she really loves the lacrosse setup, and it doesn't get enough. I agree with what you said earlier on. It doesn't get enough credit. I don't think either in the men or the women in lacrosse. We don't get. There's nothing. You see nothing about lacrosse anywhere. So, you know, I hope you do really well. I really do, because we are pretty good at it. Then again, we're pretty good at most things, aren't we?
We like to think we are pretty good. Hey, the college system is big in the States, certainly for the women. For the men, is it the same? Craig, do you tend to lose some players to the US system?
Not as many as we'd like to. The girls certainly have a better, well, not a better, but what would you say, greater opportunity, maybe?
I think maybe relationships allow for a little bit of those doors opening, I think, for the women. But
I guess with the women, Australians are known to be such great athletes naturally, so that they can, on the female side I speak of, can match it with the Americans early on. Whereas the men, it's a little different. We have a club system here. We train twice a week type of thing. Little exposure to high performance, I guess. Whereas in the US, at that same age, it's high school systems, 7 days or 5 days a week training, 7 days type involvement in lacrosse. So we do fall behind a little bit, but we're not exempt from going over to the college system for sure. There's a handful over there now.
I mean, I'm interested in this, the fact that you're both able to contact each other pretty easy, and you're both going through the same pains as to how do I get my team together, how do I prepare? Do you guys spend much time chatting with each other about how you might modify your programs?
Well, I live with one of the other coaches for the under 21 men is my partner, so we talk a lot about that probably, and Schicker and I will catch up at a lacrosse game here and there and try and work your way through it, and I have a pretty close relationship with the head coach, Gav Levy, in Western Australia, so we catch up quite often. It's good to troubleshoot, you know, and think of different ways to keep people motivated and driven, because, you know, that whole year, you know, continuing to train, and, you know, you can get together on Zoom, but there's only so much you can do over a screen.
Well, if they have the Zoom Olympics, we're a big chance for gold in that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, the ebbs and flows, as an athlete, they want to compete. They love to compete, but they love targets. So, okay, we're going to get to this camp. We understand the worlds have been bumped, but we're going to get to this camp, and then suddenly that camp gets dropped off. But it's okay, there'll be another camp. Okay, we're ready for that one. That drops off. So it's not just the training for you guys to keep them focused. I reckon it's that roller coaster ride of trying to keep them level emotionally, so they don't get to the point you go, you know what, it's all too hard, I'm out. Has that been difficult?
Absolutely. I would say that's the biggest challenge. And, you know, for me, I feel like I need to constantly find something else to kind of, you know, have to keep them invested. And so we'll just keep trying to reinvent the wheel. We've pivoted, you know, a million different times over the campaign. I was still, my June camp was cancelled recently, and I tried to get one in July. We were just about over the edge, and then we've had this little, you know, hiccup now with our borders closing again. So I think I just have one day where we kind of, you know, might be a little bit down about it, and then we're back on track and preparing again, and eyes on the prize.
How does your sister, does she have any input anymore?
My
Very decorated career. I was quite amazed at her career, but is she involved anywhere? Does she give you a call, say, hey, you know?
Yeah, she's an assistant coach for the team, for the senior team, which is amazing. So Jen and I have another US-based college coach, Adam Sear, who works at Michigan. They're both on board as staff. So we've got some
big
great contacts.
School, Michigan.
Yeah, we've got some amazing. Yeah, so we're really excited. It's great to have their input, and being overseas, they're able to work with some of the US-based athletes. They had a camp recently. So.
Hey, just quickly before we let you go, because we're getting the wind up, when will the next camp hopefully be for you guys?
Mine was scheduled for July, the third week in July. That one might not quite get off the ground. and if not, we'll just keep trying. But October is the next fully scheduled one for us.
Yeah, I believe December for us, early December. So.
Hey guys.
Fingers crossed.
Wow, yeah, fingers crossed. I admire you for sticking with it.
Good luck, team.
Imagine if you were selling stuff, you'd be doing great. Trying to keep a group of athletes up and down through this. Hey, stay with us. Still got a bit more to come.